Each night as we sleep, we dream. Do these dreams really mean anything, or are they simply the ramblings of the subconscious mind? Join us as we reveal the wealth of untapped information that awaits you in the world of your dreams. The 21st century, the beginning of a new era. We stand at the threshold of a time filled with rapid change, uncertainty, and monumental possibilities. Visionaries have pointed to this time as a turning point for humanity. One such man was the American clairvoyant Edgar Cayce. From holistic healing to spiritual development, the world that Edgar Cayce predicted is now emerging, inviting us to explore the new millennium.
How often have we heard someone say, "I had the strangest dream last night"? Dreams are a universal experience, but most of them remain mysterious and undeciphered. And yet, we're being affected by our dream experiences. The feelings and moods from the night carry over into the daytime. Sometimes a dream leaves us feeling sad or fearful, but other dreams can inspire us or give us a new appreciation for someone. Dreams are the language of the human soul, and like any language, it takes effort to learn its vocabulary and its grammar. But the insights and rewards from learning how to understand our dreams are more than worth the effort. I'm Mark Thurston, and I'm joined today by dream psychologist and author Dr. Henry Reed. Henry, you probably have more enthusiasm and passion for the value of dreams than anybody I've ever met. What inspired you?
Well, like most of us, I had very unusual dreams when I was a kid, flying. I remember directing orchestras, which used to amaze me. I'd wake up in the morning and wonder, how in the world did I do that? Hearing music that I had never heard before in my dreams. And then, like a lot of us, I forgot my dreams as I was growing up. And then when I was a psychologist in graduate school, a friend started telling me some of their dreams, mentioned Edgar Cayce and his thinking about dreams, and I got back into them. And again, started having very interesting dreams that had a big influence on my life.
Now, you mentioned Edgar Cayce. He interpreted intuitively more than 1,000 dreams. What intrigues you most about his method?
Well, he was the first person to say that we could interpret dreams for ourselves, and that was quite a challenge. Just for me intellectually as a psychologist, how could I go about training people to interpret dreams for themselves, which had never really been done before. So I saw that as a great opportunity for new research, and that came about because of his suggestion.
So we have a long history in our culture of only special people being able to interpret?
Exactly. We tend to look at dreams as medical samples that professionals should interpret. And people were kept at a distance from their dreams. And part of my work has been helping people feel that they have the right to have a relationship with their dreams themselves.
Now, what does science know about dreams and dreaming? Is this an ongoing kind of research?
The research with dreams began with the interest in the biological aspect, the discovery of REM, or rapid eye movement sleep, and the notion that we dream several times a night, and what was going on in the body, why does the brain need to have dream sleep, and so on. Then the research began to change about what was the impact of dreams upon people. Like if you deprive a person of their dreams, they act a little crazy during the day. And then as the dream work movement began and people started interpreting the dreams for themselves, psychologists started to study what was the impact on people of their dreams. For example, crisis dreams or turning point dreams, where a person would be confronting a crossroad in their life and find that they had a dream that helped them. And today the research is more oriented towards how can people use their dreams to help them. For example, pregnant families, mothers, expectant mothers, looking at their dreams to resolve issues they have about becoming a parent, or expectant fathers, or the relationship between the parents as they're expecting the newborn. Studies of depression and dreaming, how people can help work through life crises without going into depression if they pay attention to their dreams. So the research has advanced a lot from strictly the biology of dreams to the use of dreams in daily life.
Now, I've heard that sleep and dream laboratory research suggests we all dream every night, 5, 6, 7 dreams a night. I might remember 1 or 2 at most. Sometimes days go by with no recall. Why do people forget dreams?
Well, there are a lot of different reasons why they forget. Biologically, we don't seem to be programmed to remember the dreams, that we're at a state where remembering per se isn't so much plugged in. Also, the dreams are very different from our ordinary life, so it's hard to make a connection. When you wake up, you don't have any basis for knowing what you dreamt.
I have a recurrent dream. I won't
yeah?
tell it to you now, but
Okay.
when you have a recurrent dream, is that something special about that particular dream?
Usually means that there's some kind of a characteristic challenge that you face, and the recurrent dream probably has some slight changes showing your progress in dealing with that particular challenge in your life.
Can I do anything with my recurrent dream?
Well, you could look at how it ends, for example, work backwards and see if there's any change you could make in the script, and just practice making that change in your imagination.
So using the imaginative forces to sort of continue that process.
Exactly.
What's the single most important thing to remember if you're going to be a dream worker?
I think it's to keep at it and try to do something with your dream each time you remember a dream, whether it's seeing a person that you dream about or wearing a color or any little thing that actually takes some action on the basis of your dream.
Okay. Well, sleep and dream laboratory research isn't the only place where we learn the psychology of dreaming. There have been several key figures in the 20th century whose understanding of dreams has allowed us to make a quantum leap, and Edgar Cayce was one such person. His theory of dream interpretation is still among the best today.
Although some of our dreams no doubt are the product of yesterday's worries and desires, most have a deeper meaning. The American clairvoyant and spiritual philosopher Edgar Cayce described a detailed way of understanding dreams. They are an activity of the mind of the soul. That deeper mind thinks and reasons by comparing and contrasting experiences and knowledge from different levels: conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. The soul mind creates situations and events that teach us lessons. It offers us fresh insights about ourselves and other people. Although the thinking process of the dreaming mind may seem confusing or disjointed to our waking mind the next morning, the message or lesson of the dream can be revealed. One key to dream interpretation is to remember that the human mind is like a massive computer bank of data, with access to every bit of experience and information we've ever had. When we are dreaming, all that data and insight can come to us in the form of symbols, the language of the soul. As we learn to understand the symbols of our dreams, they can give us insights into every area of living. For example, they can diagnose physical problems and ailments. They can present us with thoughts and emotions that we've tried to ignore or overlook. And they can make suggestions for improving our relationships with others. What's more, our dreams go beyond the limits of time which usually confine our conscious waking minds. They can give us glimpses of the distant past, as well as hints about the possibilities and opportunities of our future. But more than anything else, dreams can provide us with an objective look at ourselves. Edgar Cayce interpreted one woman's dream in which she saw another woman wearing false teeth. The teeth were beautiful and shone like pearls. Cayce stated that the teeth symbolized the spiritual truths that the woman herself often discussed. However, they were false because she didn't apply those truths in her own life. It is this kind of symbolism that helps us understand what our dreams are telling us. And spiritual philosopher Edgar Cayce described a detailed way of understanding dreams. They are an activity of the mind of the soul. That deeper mind thinks and reasons by comparing and contrasting experiences and knowledge from different levels: conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. The soul mind creates situations and events that teach us lessons. It offers us fresh insights about ourselves and other people. Although the thinking process of the dreaming mind may seem confusing or disjointed to our waking mind the next morning, the message or lesson of the dream can be revealed. One key to dream interpretation is to remember that the human mind is like a massive computer bank of data, with access to every bit of experience and information we've ever had. When we are dreaming, all that data and insight can come to us in the form of symbols, the language of the soul. As we learn to understand the symbols of our dreams, they can give us insights into every area of living. For example, They can diagnose physical problems and ailments. They can present us with thoughts and emotions that we've tried to ignore or overlook. And they can make suggestions for improving our relationships with others. What's more, our dreams go beyond the limits of time which usually confine our conscious waking minds. They can give us glimpses of the distant past, as well as hints about the possibilities and opportunities of our future. But more than anything else, dreams can provide us with an objective look at ourselves. Edgar Cayce interpreted one woman's dream in which she saw another woman wearing false teeth. The teeth were beautiful and shone like pearls. Cayce stated that the teeth symbolized the spiritual truths that the woman herself often discussed. However, they were false because she didn't apply those truths in her own life. It is this kind of symbolism that helps us understand what our dreams are telling us.
Countless individuals have studied Edgar Cayce's material on the interpretation of dreams. One such person is Kevin Tedeschi, author of the Encyclopedia of Symbolism. He's worked with dreams for more than 20 years and has taught many people how to interpret their dreams.
I think dreams are important because they can give us objective insights into what's going on around us. It's like getting a letter from a friend. Our subconscious mind knows everything about us, and it keeps track and correlates the events of our day. And if we could figure out how to access some of that information, some of that insights that comes from within us, we could get all kinds of clues into what's going on in our life and our relationship with other people. One of the easiest ways to begin working with dreams is to simplify the dream down to its basic theme. What is happening to whom? What's the action in the dream? What are the feelings in the dream? Is it a happy dream, a sad dream, a complicated dream, a confusing dream? And once we've done that, then we can begin working with symbols. And you don't need to memorize a bunch of symbols either to get started. All you need to do is go to the bookstore or a library and get a good dream book, or even an unabridged dictionary. An unabridged dictionary lists all kinds of metaphors, symbols that the dream could also mean. Essentially, there are three kinds of symbols: archetypes, cultural symbols, and personal symbols. An archetype is simply a symbol that means the same thing across time and cultures. For example, water, as the source of all life, can be the symbol for spirit or emotion. An old person in the dream can signify wisdom or one's higher self, because hopefully the longer a person has lived, the wiser they've become. In this country, we have cultural symbols as well. For example, a black cat can signify bad luck. In Egypt, a beetle can signify good luck. Personal symbols as well. If I have a dog and I love my dog, and I dream about my dog, then literally the dream could be about the dog, or symbolically the dog might signify love. If I don't have a dog and I don't feel any way, one way or another about dogs, then in a dream a dog could signify man's best friend, because culturally that's the symbol. Symbols are often a lot easier to work with than we might first imagine. For example, a young woman came to me with a dream in which she saw her brother working in the backyard standing next to a compost pile. And on top of the compost pile was a telephone. And I looked at the woman and I said, "Are you having problems communicating with your brother?" She seemed surprised that I knew, and yet the image was in the dream. Simply because her brother, who's in the dream, was standing next to a compost pile, something that's rotten, and there's a telephone on top. Communication. So her dream was trying to tell her that her communication with her brother was rotten. One of the reasons I like working with dreams is because they can give you a great deal of insight into your personal life. For example, I've gotten a great deal of guidance about what's going on at work, what's going on in my personal relationships, what's even going to be coming up, some opportunities I might have. So without working with dreams, I don't feel like I would have as good a time with insight that is right there in my subconscious mind just waiting to be utilized.
It seems like dreams provide us with the same kind of information and guidance we might get from a trusted friend. How many of us can afford to ignore that kind of free, reliable help? When we come back, we'll hear about how you can encourage dreams about a specific problem or question you're facing. We're back with author and dream psychologist Dr. Henry Reed. Henry's been involved in a variety of programs demonstrating how dreams can provide us with practical guidance and insight in our everyday life. Henry, is it possible to make yourself dream about some question or some particular issue?
Well, it depends on what you mean by make yourself a dream. Some people have the ability to ask a question and sleep on it, and they'll come up the next morning with either the answer on their mind or else a dream that tells them the answer. But dreams are kind of like the tide. We can't make the tide come and go as we please, but if we understand its functioning, we can harness the power of the tide. Edgar Cayce had a great suggestion for how to do this, and that has to do with if you have a question you'd like answered, first of all, make some kind of a decision as to if you had no other choice but to act on it tomorrow yourself, what would you do? And go to bed with a sincere intention of doing that, and then seeing what your dreams comment upon that plan. And the next thing he would say about that is that you need to follow through with your plan a little bit. Maybe the dreams wait till the next night to come up with a commentary. So you have to be sincere. Another thing that I have found in my own research based on some things Edgar Cayce said, it's a very intriguing approach, is to ask if you can dream for somebody else in their question without knowing what their question is. And you'd be really surprised with the dreams you have when you have a desire to help somebody else. And then you can start seeing that your dreams really do have this ability to provide helpful guidance.
Boy, so we're psychic or telepathic in our dreams if we'll set our minds to it.
Sometimes it's easier to give advice to other people than it is for ourselves, and then later we realize we're really advising ourselves as we do so.
Now, I don't like some of the advice I get from my dreams sometimes. I woke up the other morning and had a dream that I immediately wanted to forget. Are there bad dreams as opposed to good dreams?
Well, there certainly are good and bad dreams in terms of people's opinion about their dreams. Some dreams people hate them, and other dreams, people really like their dreams. And it has more to do, I think, like you say, with the message that we feel that we're getting from them. But all dreams are good in the sense that they're trying to help you get back in line with your natural style of living or coming out. I think, they have the phrase, don't hide your light under a bushel. And dreams are trying to take that basket off your light and help you really shine.
You wrote a book called Getting Help from Your Dreams. What kind of help or information could a person expect to get if they really get sincere about studying their dreams?
Well, you might think of ourselves as acorns who are trying to become oak trees, and we do a lot of things to get in the way. That's why I talk about, letting your light shine. And so dreams are trying to really help us live as full a life as possible. And how that's going to actually manifest in your life is going to vary. It's not going to be the same as somebody else. One morning, perhaps you get help by having a dream that edits your mood a little bit. Sometimes you'll have a dream that gets you to see a possibility or to think about something you might not have ordinarily thought about. It's going to occur in different ways. You mentioned once seeing a person in a different light. Maybe you're being too trusting and a dream shows you a person who are acting in less than an honorable way and makes you rethink how your relationship with that person.
Well, let's talk about tonight. How can I do a better job remembering my dreams during the night and tomorrow morning?
Well, one thing you might do is make a commitment to somebody else to tell your dream to that person. Tomorrow I'm going to tell you what I dreamt. And so now you feel this obligation.
I'm on the spot.
Right, you're on the spot because it's so easy when you wake up to think, oh, this dream doesn't matter, this dream doesn't count. And you made that commitment, that really helps.
Any other techniques or tips that might help me do better?
Well, it's nice to have some paper and pencil by your bed and to actually mentally rehearse in your mind waking up and you're going to write that dream down. Also not moving. They've shown in the laboratory that as you move your body, you're actually erasing your memory from your dream, rolling over. And we have that saying about how you roll over and forget something. When you roll over, you actually forget the dream that you had in that position. So if you can lay very still, that helps in remembering it.
What about nightmares? Where do they come from?
Well, nightmares are dream experiences that present us with situations that are particularly challenging, that take us to the edge of our tolerance. That's why we tend to wake up from nightmares, because we're reaching to the point that we can't tolerate the feeling anymore, and they're challenges to us to learn how to deal with situations in a new way.
I want you to dream a little with me about what's possible for the 21st century. If our nighttime dreams were really appreciated by people, what would happen in our culture, in our society?
Well, I think one thing that would happen is that if you mentioned a dream at the office, people wouldn't laugh at you, but instead would ask some supportive questions to help you understand your dream better. And that simple little change would bring dream wisdom into our culture that could make a tremendous difference.
So it sounds like dreams could become just part of our everyday communications, a very natural part of life.
Exactly. It would be bringing a whole new spirit into our everyday life.
One of the remarkable conclusions from studying Edgar Cayce's dream interpretation material is that anyone can do it. Professional dream counselors can certainly help, But you can learn to do this on your own. Here are some people who have done just that.
I've had several dreams. I just started to do some dream work, and one of the dreams recently that really sticks out, since I came to this area, I started working with the Edgar Casey readings. Then one night I dreamed that Edgar came to me and I got a reading number, which at first I didn't know what it was. It was just 557. I wasn't aware of what it was. I didn't immediately think, oh, this is a reading number. And then I got a picture of a blood clot in the iris of my eye, and I also got an image of your throat. And when I put them all together and started working with them, I realized that that was a reading. It was a physical reading, and it was also a life reading. The information was about anemia, so he gave some remedies, for that, which I've been working with, which have helped. And so for me, it was just a way to be more the person that I'm supposed to be,
One dream that provided personal insight into my own life was a rather profound dream about my first hospice patient that I ever took care of. I went to visit him over the Christmas season in a nursing home where he was staying. He was in the last stages of the dying process. He had lung cancer. I came to bring him a small gift. This was a ceramic church to match a village set that his caregivers had at their home. And one of the features that attracted me to getting him this gift was in this church you could turn on a light and all the lights would shine through the windows in the church. Shortly thereafter, I had a dream about this patient who I called Gramps. He was a really neat person. I became very close to him during this process. And in the dream, Gramps was in front of a huge castle. And this castle was somehow reminiscent of the small church I had given him, in the fact that in every window and every opening of this castle was that same light that had shined through this small little church. There was that same light in the dream somehow shining through every window in this castle. And Gramps was standing in front of this castle in the dream, and he had his palms facing me, and in his palms was that same light from the castle and really from the church that I had given him. And I'd never, like I said, had a dream about him before, so somehow this was a profound, almost communication from him to me on a soul level through a dream, letting me know that he was okay, he had passed over, and he might have even liked the gift I got him.
Dreams can provide answers and insights, but only if we know how to interpret their meanings. Henry Reed's traveled around the country talking about dreams, helping individuals one-on-one. He's got some tips for us on how we can get started. Henry?
Well, the first thing you can do is to write down your dreams. It may seem like a little bit of a burden, but if you can devote the 5 minutes to writing them down, it helps you remember them. It helps you long-term look back and reread them and study them, and you'll be amazed at how you can understand more easily a dream that you had a year ago than this morning's dream. So that's the first point. Second, when you have a dream, is ask yourself, what's the story, what are the feelings, what are the symbols? Those are the major 3 components. Like maybe the way you walk out of a movie. You don't have to be a psychologist to leave a movie and think about it, And you can ask yourself, what do I recognize in this dream, and what seems novel? Maybe there's some feelings that you recognize and some other feelings that seem foreign to you. The third thing is to ask yourself, what could I do about this dream? Is there anything that I could do that I could put into action? We talked about wearing some clothing, talking to a person that you had in your dream, performing one of the actions in the dream, anything like that, because that keeps you involved in taking actions on the dreams, and the other dreams are going to comment upon that. And the last thing is, keep working at it. Dreams are not a quick fix. Now, you might have a beginner's luck experience where you have a fantastic dream or this stupendous interpretation, but rather be in for the long haul. Think of it as a relationship. Rather than wanting to conquer each dream with this fantastic interpretation, just make a relationship with each one and let it grow over time, and you'll be well rewarded.
Sounds like the persistency and the consistency is the key.
Exactly, that is.
Let's always remember that dreaming is a natural experience. It's the way that a very important part of your mind thinks and reasons. Even when you don't remember a dream or can't interpret it, something important is still going on. Start exploring the world of dreams for yourself. Keep a journal by your bed and jot down your dreams when you wake up. Start learning about the meaning of symbols. An amazing world of dreams is just waiting for your personal exploration, and the journey will begin again tonight.